First question. Hello, recent watcher. I'm recent watcher of the Venerable Buddhist videos. Thank you for them. Great lessons. My question. I am from the Tian-tai school. How does the Lotus Sutra's teaching, namely 3,000 rams in a single mind, relate to real world? Wow. Tian-tai school. All the 3,000 rams is in one thought. Do you still remember William Blake's poem? What he says is, I can see a world in a grain of sand. And a grain, the whole world is contained in a grain of sand. And a wildflower contains the whole nature. I can see millions of hours in a flash of a second. Because everything is in the mind. Everything, no matter how big, how small, is all in the mind. So what it simply implies is one should turn to the mind for cultivation, not pursuing externality. If you're attaching to the Lotus Sutra, you're pursuing externalities too. Once you know that you have to return to your real mind, so you have to be careful with every thought that you have. If a thought of jealousy comes up, you're mindful of it, you know, stop, this thought of jealousy is leading me into a karmic world. So everything is within a thought. A thought gives rise to action or speech, right? Every action, every wholesome action, unwholesome action, every action that you're going to perform, every word that you're going to utter is from a thought. How can you do anything without a thought? So the origin is from a thought. So when these actions and speeches are always repeated, we always say it becomes a habit. When habits are all repeated, it becomes your personality. Your personality determines how successful you are or how miserable you are. So start with a thought. What kind of thought you have? Can you watch your own thought? What's the purpose of meditation? Meditation is just not cross your leg and do a good postures and getting blessings from Buddha and making yourself healthy and yoga. I'm putting in a yoga position and then I'm a good master in meditation. I can concentrate, I have supernatural power. Meditation is to be mindful, or shouldn't use that word mindful, introspecting your own mind so that you know every thought that comes up. If an unwholesome thought comes up, you identified it, you don't want to follow the unwholesome thought. If a wholesome thought comes up, maybe for the time being you want to linger that wholesome thought and carry it into action and speech. So watch your mind. Buddhism is about introspecting your mind to make sure that you're returning to purity. You're not being polluted. You're not being polluted by the environments of emotions. Can you do that? First of all, start with yourself. Do you have emotions? How do you overcome emotional challenges? When emotions come up, do you let the emotions obsess you and lead you express your emotion in anger, in fury, in jealousy, in hatred, in greediness, in ignorance, in arrogance? Will you be able to be very observant of your own emotion, and only will you be able to control your unwholesome emotions and linger on your wholesome emotions? Some emotions are wholesome. Emotions of compassion, loving kindness, emotion of thoughtfulness, consideration, emotions of thinking of morality. So that's enough to answer this question. What it says is 3,000 rams in a single mind, in a single thought. My mind is so powerful that I can put Hong Kong into my mind right now. How big is Hong Kong? 7 million people, more than 7 million people, on an island and an attachment to an island. But when I close my eyes, I have 尖沙咀 on my mind. 尖沙咀, 海傍道, whatever, all of a sudden it's in my mind. But my mind is only a smaller the brain, but how come my mind can contain the whole Hong Kong right now? Not only Hong Kong, my mind can also contain at the same time California, Mexico. I've been to Mexico. My mind can contain enormous things. My mind can also contain a very minute thing. So how powerful your mind? Do you know how powerful your mind? Your mind can lead you to go to heaven. Your mind can also lead you to hell. Your mind can lead you to enlightenment. Your mind can also lead you to confusion. Can we change our mind so that every thought will be a wholesome thought, compassionate thought, loving kindness thought, non-violence thought, concession thought, kindness thought? What is the concept to be a good Buddhist besides being compassion? Thank you. I already talked about it in the Chinese New Year. To be very brief, if you want to be a good Buddhist, remember talk about 3 criteria. The first one is to be a good person. We don't want to be so high level, talk about fantastic concepts and theory. To be a good Buddhist, you have to be a good person. So what's the standard of being good? To you, what is good to him could be bad, but what is your standard? We use morality as a standard. The norm is morality. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie. We have certain morality that human values have. Human has certain morality. Of course, the morality, the standard of morality differ in different countries, differ in different cultures. But there are certain morality that is almost applicable to all. Like killing people is immoral. How can you say killing people is good? Lying is not good. How can you say lying is good to my country? My country like lying, you think lying is not good? My country like lying. You think killing is not good? My country like killing. But there's certain normal, certain standard about morality. To be a good person. How to be a good person? The Buddha told us there are certain precepts you have to cultivate and observe. There are 5 basic ones, and of course there are many other ones, but there are 5 basic ones. Abstain from killing, abstain from lying, abstain from sexual misconduct, abstain from intoxicants, abstain from what? Another one. Stealing, yes. Abstain from stealing. There's certain basic values. So, to be a good person. What is the second criteria to be a good Buddhist? The first one is to be a good person, morality standard. The second one is what? To be happy. You are learning the Buddhism. You want to be happy, right? I haven't found anybody who said, I don't want to be happy. Anybody who said, I don't want to be happy? Everybody wants to be happy. To be happy, what do? To be happy, you must cultivate calming of one's mind. How can you be happy if your mind is not calmed down? If your mind is always agitated with anger, with arrogance, with selfishness, how can you be happy? So to be happy, you have to learn stabilization, right? Stabilization, mind stabilization. So to be happy, there's certain ways how to make life happier. People call it meditation, but stabilization. Last but not least, what is the last one? To be wise. To be wise, you need the right introspection. So to be a good Buddhist, you ask me how to be a good Buddhist, to be a good person, to be happy, and to be wise. And these are only the general broad topics. Underneath it, there's a lot of things you have to do that I can elaborate in here. There's so much to say about it. There's all in the Buddhist teaching. But if you want to remember the main points, to be a good person, to be a good Buddhist, you have to be a good person. You have to have values in a person. The difference between an animal and a human is humans have certain values. A dog would only look for food when it's hungry, would only get furious will only bark when they get furious. That's their value. But the human value is they want to know the value of existence. Why do I exist in this world? What values I should have? Humans have values. We should highly consider and evaluate these values and maintain the best moral values of humans. So to be a good person is to realize your values. If you don't even realize your values, you know why people committing suicide? They lose the values. In their depressions, they think that I'm absolutely useless. It's pointless, meaningless. I don't have a life. I'm useless. They don't remember those values that they have. The values of existence, the value of learning to get to the enlightenment part of life. So to be a good person, to be happy and to be wise. How does one differentiate between joyfulness, bliss, contentment, and indulgence of worldly pleasures when one feels happy? Take a look at the dictionary. I mean, you're asking me how to define joyfulness and the meaning between joyfulness and bliss. You always hang up with meaning of words. Why don't you just say blissful is joyful, content is okay? Why don't you learn to change your thinking? Why don't be sticking onto the meaning of a word that get you into trouble? And most people think that they memorize a book and they have learned a book. You know what is the content of the book, you have to practice according to the book, not to hang on some definitions and meaning. You really have to practice it. You have to walk the board, not just talking about a board. You look at the map to Victoria and you're on a boat, you're always thinking about what is the street. The first street leads to Empress Hotel and the second street leads to another hotel. So I'll be caught in between two streets and what is this street? And you never get there. You walk there. You walk there, you can't find Empress Hotel and they ask you, someone, where's Empress Hotel is pointing that to you. That's there. Then you walk there. If you look at the map and you never walk according to the map, you can never get there. You only look at your map and start asking all kinds of questions about a map, you better walk there and clarify when you are actually walking there. You haven't started your first step. Millions of miles begin with the first step. Millions of miles does not begin sitting down and reading on a map. You have to get your first step